Hey guys, and welcome to another video from the Parrot Bros. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I thought you'd like to see my second car as I sort of take some bits off it, have a look around it, see what a 17-year-old TT has to hide. I've already found a few little bits, nothing out of the ordinary, but I just thought I'd share it with you and what I plan to do with it, and a few how-tos, because this is a great opportunity to remove some stuff, show you how it comes off, because I see so many questions on a daily basis. So we'll try and crunch through some of those as well. Right, before we get stuck into it, let's jump into the intro. Okay, so I thought I'd give you a little bit of a show around. Now, there's a couple of bits I found. Now, this I sort of knew about already. It's got, obviously, the normal boot spoiler you'd expect to find on a 225. However, it has also got some holes in. Let me just try and get that so you can see it better. There we go. So I'm going to take this tape off and show you. Oh, if I can. Okay, so we have two holes. Now this is the same on both sides. Now I'm sure you can guess what was on there before. There was indeed this spoiler. So this is a quite a popular aftermarket spoiler, and that sits just over the top. What I'm actually going to do is mount it just to show you guys what it looks like, really. It's quite interesting. I'm not a massive fan. I'm more of a fan of the OEM-y kind of look. I like the V6 lip, whether that's carbon or whatever, so you can expect to see that coming onto mine shortly. But yeah, so I'll just quickly throw this on loosely just so you can have a look, because some of you might like it, and they're not too expensive, and also this one will be for sale. So just thought I'd do that. So let me just quickly throw it on and then I'll come back to you. And there you have it. It took about 5 or 10 minutes. Obviously you're going to have to drill holes in your tailgate, so be sure that you definitely want this spoiler, because once fitted there is no going back. So that is the spoiler fitted. Do you know, I don't mind it. It's just not for me. I think the reason I don't like it is just because it has two spoilers, which looks a bit weird. But again, I don't hate it. I quite like the angle of it. I think it's because obviously it looks great on the newer models. But yeah, I'll get you a good few angles from the back. And I'll show you what it looks like fitted underneath. See, it quite suits the silhouette of the back of the car. Right, let's open the boot, which still works on the button. I mean, it's pretty. Before I do that, it's pretty sturdy. Look, it doesn't. There's no wobble. So it is. There's only 4 screws holding it on. So pop the boot, and it is just the case of 2 fixings, pretty much just as soon as it goes flat. Same on both sides, 2 fixings, and that is pretty much it. But yeah, like I said, it's pretty sturdy. You could certainly hold the boot on it. It's not going anywhere. But yeah, in the comments, what do you think? Do you like it, or do you prefer the original, or have you got a different spoiler? Right, let's move on to the next thing. Right, so next up will be the exhaust. I think it's only fair that we move on to this now. Okay, so the exhaust, that has to be the next thing that we discuss. Now, yeah, now you can get a better look at it. So you got your 1 hole, you got your 2 holes, and then you got your exhaust slightly off center. And I know you're all wondering what it looks like underneath, so let's have a look. So it is literally just a pipe. Let me get my light a bit better. It is just basically the stock system cut where it would enter the back box, and then a piece of tube straight out into the air. And I'll tell you what, I'll do a sound video. Let me take my microphone off. I'll go into the car, start it, and give you a little revvy. Okay guys, I'll take my microphone off so I won't be able to speak to you, but I'll have to take the camera with me because it's on a good gimbal, so hopefully this sounds alright for you. Okay. So to be honest, inside the car it actually kind of sounds normal, but a little bit like a tinny, like an M3 would. So I'm not really super sold on that, but I hope that give you a bit of an idea. Sorry if it didn't get the sound very well because it's really hard to sound talking and giving it a little rev plus. I don't really want to make too much noise, but the only downside to this I will say is that it sits really, really low. As you can see, I don't know how well you can see that, but it is pretty low. It's on basically a double exhaust hanger, you can see there, so that's kind of a little bit lower than you're going to want it, because the likelihood is that will probably touch the floor. We actually give it a good bang on the lower section when we put it onto the trailer, so it's definitely a little bit low if you live near speed bumps, so definitely one to think about. What's the next one we've got? Oh, this one's just a bit of a funny one, to be honest. Well, I thought it was funny anyway. So, obviously categorising the car, whilst I was looking at different bits and bobs, and people are saying, oh, what bits you got for sale? I know it's the boost gauge, which everyone, if you have a TT, should have a boost gauge, because it is the best diagnostics tool for 20 or 30 pounds. Super easy to fit. So there you go. Got a boost gauge, so you can't see it very well, but you get the idea. And I thought, oh, I'll pull it out, can sell it for someone who I've been chatting to a few people who said they needed them, and I pulled it out. It's not fitted. It was obviously put in there ready to fit, but not quite fitted yet. And the vent, let's pull this out so you can have a look. The vent has just basically had all the slots removed except for the top one and the bottom one, which actually is fits the vent quite well. Actually sits, it's a 52mm vent, same as the one I've got, and it actually sits in there quite well, and it doesn't come out. It's not the perfect fitment, but it technically works, so can't argue for that. But yeah, boost gauge will be for sale. It's only a cheap one off eBay, same as the one I've got. I think it's 25 quid new, so jump into the messages if you want that, and I'll also explain how to fit it. It's got a aftermarket stereo, which is great, but these normally have a second power feed. I'm going to have to look into it, because I was going to do a video on fitting a stereo, because there's so much animosity about how to work it with Bose and what lead you need and all that kind of stuff. But this one, actually, you can turn on even when the car's not on. So that's wired the wrong way around, but it is remembering the thing. So instead of having a permanent live, instead of having a switch live, it's got a permanent live. So we'll have a look at how that's wired, and I'll probably do a separate video on that. But besides that, the car is actually in a pretty nice condition. Inside, it's got the anise leather. It's missing the knob. This is quite a common one. It either snaps off or it gets lost. There's a broken one in the glove box, so at some point it's had it. These are still pretty good. Normally they kind of lose their edge a little bit. It's got an aftermarket gear knob. The seat's a little bit worn on the shoulder, but it's not, to be honest, that's not bad at all. The heated seats still work really good, and the back seats, like most, have looked like they've never been sat in. It's also got, which is quite a common one, it's got the screws to take a cup holder, a genuine cup holder, so someone's obviously had their money out of that at some point. But besides that, we're kind of there or thereabouts. I've got quite a few things to do. It's got spacers all round. Obviously, you know, it's got the 6-pot A&Z brakes, which will be making an appearance at some point, whether they're on the car or off the car, or I don't know what to do with them, to be honest, yet, because I quite like my 4-pot setup. Plus they're cheap to replace parts on, so I don't know, we'll see on that one. Headlights are really nice. They're definitely going to go on mine because they've got the silver insert, which is what I wanted to do. I've been in chats with Cloud9 Customs about getting the clear thing, the clear indicator bezel, so we can change that because I think that looks sweet. It's got a honeycomb RS style grille, which, to be honest, I don't mind. I just feel weird when it doesn't have the badges. I don't know, I'm just so used to seeing the 4 rings that you just kind of get used to seeing them, and that's kind of how it should be. So, but yeah, that's kind of all the stuff that's not standard. It's got a few bits in the engine bay, but nothing particularly. And then I've got a selection of parts to go through, which some will be for sale, some won't. Some random bits, IBAC anti-roll bars, M-Tech silicon tips, some rear poly bushes, a nice oil cooler, steering cooler pipe, which is good. A couple of spare headlights. I need to see what's going on with them because one of them is loose and something's rattling around, something rotten. Got a nice little set of arms. Someone needs a new pair of arms. These have probably only seen a couple of thousand miles, so that's good. And a gear knob. We'll do a gear knob fit because these ones, I've had loads of messages about how to get these off because people can't remove them. That's the broken switch I said about, which the one in the car is exactly the same, so it's they're quite common, unfortunately. But yeah. So that is kind of an update where we are with the car. What I plan to do is obviously... Oh, I've only just noticed this. It's got a vinyl over the rear window. At the back, I never noticed that. To be fair, you wouldn't really... Unless you were looking, you wouldn't really notice that. I can't believe I haven't noticed that before. So yeah, someone's vinyled the I don't know, 8 inches of the 7 inches of the window. I suppose, to be fair, the visibility isn't really that relevant in the car, and the brake light's down the bottom, so it's not the end of the world. Let's have a quick look under the bonnet, shall we? Why not? So yeah, I'm going to be basically using this as a parts guide just to make my car better, because it's missing loads of smalls. I need some headlights, I need an under tray, I need a couple of clips, pipes, just things that if I were to buy them, each thing's 20, 40, 50, 60 quid, so it's all good. Good fun. I could have done with a second strut brace because I wanted to obviously do some painting, paint them up, do a little video on that, because that's just a nice little touch when you open the bonnet. But besides that, it's actually quite a stock car inside, so it's good because it means I've got loads of other stuff. Now hopefully this doesn't look super good, but I could have done with one of these because my battery one is knackered, but hopefully that one's better. It's just not clipped in properly. We shall see. Oh, stop. It's got a K&N, apparently. We'll see if it has actually got a K&N in or not. This is what I like about when you find a 20-year-old TT. It has a self-tapping wood screw in there, so someone's either lost it or broke it in the past, which is interesting. But yeah, so basically I'm just going to take off everything I want, and then all the other bits will be up for grabs for a very reasonable price, with the Parrot Bros subscriber discount, of course. I could do with a new scuttle as well, because mine's just a bit crap, although this one's not actually fitted properly, so we'll see whether that's broken or not. And like most, it's damaged on the plastic, which is super common. Dave at Kirkby Designs does 3D printed ones in any colour, which is pretty cool. He sent me one. I'm going to be putting that one in mine. But yeah, just thought I'd show you before I sort of tear it apart. A few extras and a few little funny things. But besides that, it's actually a pretty honest car. I mean, it's got rust, like most. I noticed some there. It's got a little bit of bubble here. That way you can see it on the camera. There you go, a little bit of bubble there. But I mean, for the age of the car, it isn't actually that bad. I think this wing is the same. You probably won't be able to see it because it's really dark. Yeah, you can there. Let's see the bubble. It's got a bubbly wing. It's got a weird repair there. But besides that, it's kind of all there. This is super common, getting like a glancing dent scratch thing. I see that on most TTs that are for sale. Bumpers that don't line up is another common one, either because they're not screwed in. See, there should be a fix in there, which there's not. And that's just from, I guess, when you take it apart so many times, you put it back together, and then you end up with spare bolts. Not that I do, of course, because I do everything correctly. I'll just move this box of spare bolts out the way. But yeah, standard rear discs and calipers by the looks of it. But it's got, what's it got? 15mm spacers on it, I guess, 15 or 20? Probably 15 they look like. It has got some coilovers, which I'm probably going to use myself. I haven't decided 100% yet. But it's got the Voigtland, which I'm interested to actually test. Because I've never really heard that much about them. So I've been intrigued to see what they're like. And I certainly will report back. Because this does sit really nice. I mean, look at that. It just sits kind of how you'd want a TT2. It's not too low. I mean, you can see there's plenty of clearance underneath. There's probably 5 or 6 inches, maybe more, just because of that exhaust. But it just sits really well. It's not too close to the arch. It's a little bit low for some, I'm sure, but I think that's really good. That's kind of the height I'm going to have it, so I'm probably just going to take them off and fit them on mine exactly how they are. And I'll report back on that one. But guys, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. Something a bit different. Like I said, I'll be doing some videos of taking some stuff off. Anything you want to know how it comes off, jump in the comments and tell me, because it is going to probably get stripped in the next few weeks. Work and COVID allowing. So we shall see. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. That's been another video from the Parrot Bros. Bye for now.